Hi, my name is Lon, and I am a. Maybe you're expecting alcoholic? No. Hi, my name is Lon, and I am a hypocrite. And you say, well, you can't be a hypocrite, you're a pastor. So what you're saying is that I should try to live up to the expectations that you have for me? Right. You're saying I can't be myself? Isn't that the very definition of hypocrisy? There are 4 words I hate the most. We need to talk. Because that means I'm in trouble. That means I failed some ideal, some expectation. And now we gotta fix it. Often other people see that as, the Bible is the we need to talk book. We fail the expectations of God, the ideals that God has for us, and so God gave us the book, the Bible, to show us how, we need to talk. Religion is often that is, religion is the we need to talk thing, where it shows us how much we've messed up. But we know that, don't we? We know we've messed up. The group U2 has some song lyrics I like. Don't believe in excess. Success is to give. Don't believe in riches, but you should see where I live. Don't believe in forced entry. Don't believe in rape, but every time she passes by, wild thoughts escape. See, the truth is, folks, all of us fail our ideals, and all of us would like to project that we're better than we actually are. We're all hypocrites. Now, when we refuse to admit that we are hypocrites, we just make it worse. AA has got it right, the first step, because in the first step they have to admit that they are an alcoholic. When they do that, the mask comes off, and they stop lying to themselves. They stop believing, oh, I can quit anytime I want, or I'll get to it next week, right? Sorry, the police just went by. I had to go a little slower. I'm such a hypocrite. Where was I? And so Jesus goes along and he points out to the Pharisees that they are hypocrites. And they need to hear this because they've become very reductionistic. You see that God has his big ideals, and in order to help humans from failing those big ideals, they come up with a whole bunch of little rules. So, on the Sabbath, for instance, you should keep the Sabbath. They defined exactly how many steps you could take on the Sabbath. And, and then they just come up with a whole bunch of rules, and then, of course, they feel like they're superior because they come up with the rules. They feel they're keeping the rules. And then they look down on others who don't keep their rules. Right? And in the midst of that, Jesus is upset because as they're doing that, they're missing mercy. They're missing compassion. See, they don't see people. They see people who broke the rules. And they miss God. They miss the heart of God, the compassion of God, the grace of God. Right? Because they can't see beyond their rules. Because they haven't embraced that they themselves are hypocrites. So they only make it worse. Because hypocrisy kills community. When we're busy pretending, right? We are and others are. There's no real community there. There's no real authenticity. Often, if I'm at a party or whatever, gathering of people, and the drinks are flowing and the language is colorful, until people find out I'm a pastor, and it just kills the whole thing. And I just hate it. Right? So they start to hide their drink, and I'm thinking, well, I could use a drink, right? And then they start to judge me. Oh, maybe they walk away because he's one of those religious types, right? They don't know me. They don't know how much I like bourbon. And so everybody stops being themselves. Right? We don't get to know the real person because we're so busy projecting. We think, people will say, well, and they start, well, I've been meaning to get back to church. And, I don't care. I want to know you. What's going on with you? I'm not the rule keeper. I'm not the morality police here. It just kills community. It just makes things worse when we fail to admit that we're hypocrites. So the way you treat hypocrisy then is just to admit that you are one. See, the second I admit that I'm a hypocrite and I take off the mask, I stop being one. Now you can see the real me. In fact, I think there's more research needs to be done, but Leonard Sweet, one of my mentors, suggests that Jesus may have introduced the whole concept of hypocrisy. That the Greek word here in the Bible for hypocrite didn't have the connotations it does now. Originally, it just meant an actor with a mask on. And so the Pharisees are so busy wearing the mask, they so believe their own propaganda they don't even know they are hypocrite. They're so defined by their rules that they think, God loves their rules as well. Rules that don't have mercy and compassion. So I think Jesus comes up with this word to help them see who they are. I had a girlfriend in high school, and she loved big parties, and I hated big parties. Right? It was all this, in my mind, it was all this small talk and noise, and I just feel all the energy going right out of me, trying to feel like I had to connect or relate to all these people. And I judged her for just being shallow, because anybody would know that these parties are just shallow. She must be a shallow person. But then I learned a word that opened me up. It helped me to see things differently. It was the word introvert. That I am an introvert. That's who I am. My girlfriend was an extrovert. And all of a sudden I began to see she's not shallow. She's just being true to who she is. She's an extrovert. And it opened me up. I think Jesus is opening up to the Pharisees that they are playing a part. And in that playing of that part, they've lost their humanity. And now maybe they can begin to see others with different eyes of compassion and mercy, through the eyes of God. So the way you treat hypocrisy is simply by admitting that you are one. Because grace, you see, is the space for all of us hypocrites. Grace is the space where we can be ourselves and others can be themselves with all our shortcomings. Because the way you deal with that is by coming into community with others. Right? That's what AA discovered. That it's community, that you need community to help you to live up to the ideals you have for yourself. But when we're behind if only, we're not in community. Because we tend to believe if only others would love me and respect me, and I just need to project that, and pretend. But they don't know you. That's just an illusion. Right? The if onlys. If only I could keep the rules, then God would love me. No. How many of us love our kids because they're perfect? If we were that, we wouldn't be very good parents, would we? Because our kids aren't perfect. In fact, it's our love for our kids that draws out the best in who they are. Right? The parent who wants their kids to be an image of what they want them to be is not a good parent. See, in community we can embrace our limitations, and when we begin to do that in community, Because God is part of that community. Then we can actually begin to move in the direction of keeping more of our deals. Not that we'll ever get there. We will be sinner saints. That's why we so much need grace. Grace is the space for all us hypocrites. So my name is Lon, and I am a... What's your name? And you are...